this swim bait. It picked it up.
That's
and it picked it up. Its mouth would come around like this. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And the hooks are down there on the bottom. I never got a hook in that fish. Me and Shane know where that fish is, and we're going to find it again. That's the biggest bass I've probably ever had bite, which it disgusts me that I haven't caught it.
Hey. Nikki here. This is KastKing on the Line with your host, Nikki. Good evening. This is another episode of KastKing on the Line with your host, Nikki. And tonight we have a wonderful guest, Mr. Ty Kleeb. But before we get into our guest, I just want to remind you guys, make sure if you are watching on the video from KastKing, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you can follow along on our adventures. And if you're listening for podcast, just follow along Spotify, Apple, iTunes. We're all over the place. So make sure you guys follow along. Okay, Tyler, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Welcome for having me. Thank you for having me.
I'm so glad. I know that with the weather, everything's been kind of crazy. I had to reschedule you, but I couldn't wait to have you back on. It's just been so crazy, but I'm really excited. Finally got you on tonight. Have you been? What have you been up to? You've been up to doing some fishing?
It's been somewhat of a struggle, but most of that's behind us now, and we're doing a lot.
Okay, we froze up a little bit there, but were you explaining that you had some weather? You had with the weather?
Yeah, I didn't have any power for about 4 days and no water for 6 days. So
oh my God.
It was a wreck here. Yeah.
I'm so sorry. That had to been.
That was the longest. I haven't fished for probably 6 days now, and that's the longest that I've ever gone without catching a fish, probably in
6 days.
A long time. Yeah.
I can imagine that would have me going through withdrawals.
Yeah. No, I'm struggling. So I got big plans for this weekend.
Oh, nice. Now, what kind of fisherman are you? Bass fisherman?
Definitely not solely focused on bass. Anything that swims, really.
I like that.
Crappie and bluegill and bass. I really love anything in South America.
Wow.
Peacock bass are way up there. I love wiper, like hybrid striped bass.
Oh, wow.
And then catfish and alligator gar. I make it a point to never post a video fishing for the same thing twice in a row.
Oh, wow. I like that. So you're after all the species.
Yeah, I get bored fast.
That's understood. I completely understand that. And with the different species of fish, there's always a puzzle in trying to find out what each one is biting on, or what lure to use, or some type of tactic, or.
Yeah, absolutely. Just like there's obviously a huge science to bass fishing, but you can apply that science to any type of fish out there, which to me just makes it that much more fascinating.
I like that. Now, how long have you been fishing?
Basically my whole life, but I started getting serious about it around high school. I started doing tournaments around high school, and that's when I kind of
really took off.
Get serious about it and started learning and absorbing as much as I could.
And where did you go to school?
I went to school in Lincoln, Nebraska. I went to University of Lincoln, Nebraska.
Nice.
Yeah, I grew up there, and I moved to Texas 6 years ago.
Wow. You love Texas?
I do love Texas, yes.
Except for the weather recently.
Yeah, the winters are normally gorgeous. This was just a fluke that I hope will never happen again.
Me
The
too.
summers are atrocious.
Oh, I can imagine. And what is that like for fishing? The weather. It must be really good weather for fishing, right?
Bass are just as dormant in the summer as they are in the winter.
Okay.
So that's one of the reasons I chase a lot of different species, and I like to travel a lot during the summer, because the bass fishing and a lot of fish down here are just so they have zero energy when it's that hot, you know?
Yeah, I can imagine.
Suck, to answer your question.
Now you said you did tournaments. Are you tournament fishing now? You said you did tournaments. Are you into you do any tournaments right now?
I do not. No. With tournaments, I found that they tell you when you have to stop, and I don't like that. I'm not that big into tournaments, and especially with the multi-species thing. I just want to fish and just have fun. And the way I feel about tournaments, honestly, is that I can do a tournament at a pond or a lake in Texas, and there will be 10 guys who live on that lake who know what brush pile to go hit, and they'll pull a bunch of 5-pounders off of them every time. And you'll notice it's always the same local guys that win the tournaments, and it's me who's always losing my money. And maybe I'm not that good at bass fishing, I don't know, but I'd personally just rather just have fun fishing and have no time limit on it, because if fish are biting, I'm not going to want to leave to go to a weigh-in. You know what I mean? I want to fish.
I completely agree. I'm the same way about tournaments. I don't like to be rushed and I want to enjoy the fish when I catch the fish. I want to look at the fish, see the species that I caught, see the different markings. I always try to tell people, the fish, they all have different markings or something really cool about them. It might have a little spot here or just something neat about them, and take a look at them, take some pictures, put them back, and enjoy it. Not have to be rushed in a tournament to do so.
Yeah.
It's always, the outdoors. It's about being outdoors for me. The fish are always a bonus.
When I was in high school, I was doing those FLW circuit, the youth circuit for FLW, and I won state 2 times. But I'm not bragging because it was in Nebraska.
Congratulations.
The competition was not that fierce. But I remember getting to North Carolina and losing a 5-pound fish at the boat. And I remember if I would have caught that fish, I would have won $5,000 that day.
Oh.
So I remember seeing that $5,000 just swim away from me.
Oh.
And so maybe I'm a little burned on tournament fishing, and that's why. But I'll love tournaments if it's just a fun local thing. But
do you have any? You talked about that $5,000 fish. Do you have any big, crazy fishing stories or something that maybe the one that got away, or maybe that was the story?
Yeah, the first thing that comes to mind is the biggest heartbreak I've ever had, and I was with Shane, in fact, and
Shane. Oh wow.
Yeah, and I found a bunch of bluegill on a bed, and I'm just infatuated with them, and I'm fishing for them, and I hear Shane start shrieking from across the pond that he found this gigantic bass, double digit, no doubt.
Double digit.
Yes, and so I went over there, and the thing's probably 27 inches long, and was probably at least a teener, if not a mid-teens. And it's like 10 feet from me and Shane, and we're looking at it. And we cast to it 100 times with jigs and soft plastics, and it doesn't even remotely respond. The male picks up the bait every time. And eventually I threw on like a 7-inch swim bait with 2 trebles on the bottom of it. And instantly the fish just reacts to something that big, because the male can't pick up that bait because it's too big for the male to eat, right?
Yeah.
And the female just went nose down on it. And I think on the 3rd cast, she smacked it, and you could hear the fish hit it. We were that close.
Oh, wow.
But the hooks on that swim bait were on the bottom of it, and it always would pick it up from the back. And it picked it up 2 times, and both times it set the hook and probably shouldn't have. And every time it picked it up, it picked it up. I have the bait right here. Hold on.
Oh, yeah, let's see.
This swim bait, it picked it up.
That's
and it picked it up. His mouth would come around like this. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And the hooks are down there on the bottom. I never got a hook in that fish.
Oh.
But me and Shane know where that fish is, and we're going to find it again.
You know where he lives. You know it's
a little pond, and that's the biggest bass I've probably ever had bite, which it disgusts me that I haven't caught it, that I didn't catch it, but I'm going to catch it. I'll get it. Stay tuned for that video, hopefully.
Stay tuned. We'll get a story on that one.
That's right.
Now, what about your biggest fish caught? What would that be?
Bass or otherwise?
Out of all of them, all your species.
I've caught a 12-foot hammerhead shark before.
Oh my gosh, shark. Yeah. Okay, so that was the biggest. You caught the 12-foot hammerhead shark, right?
Yes.
And then you were saying?
In freshwater, the biggest I've got is a 250-pound alligator gar, and I've got a couple of arapaima from South America too that were over 200 pounds.
So tell me about South America. Is this something you do a lot?
I've been to South America probably 8 or 9 times.
8 or 9 times. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. It's insane. I would say anybody that likes to fish needs to go, and I don't have anything against bass fishing. I love bass fishing. But if you like bass fishing, you owe it to yourself to go there and understand how weak a largemouth bass really is.
So what is it like going there? I mean, it's just the fish are obviously different. You said the bass are different, right?
Mainly what it is it's like a lagoon. So there's always a main river that you stay on or close by, and the river's a big river. It's maybe 100 yards wide,
Mm-hmm.
200 yards wide, and you don't fish that much in the main river, but place I've been in South America, it's always these lagoons that you're fishing in, and the
Mm-hmm.
peacock bass live back in those lagoons, and they're not like largemouth at all. They're not structure oriented. Um, they just they're just crazy. They live off the ledges. Sometimes they'll be up on the bank. I think they're oftentimes traveling around. You'll get there, and if you get into a big lagoon, you'll just hear explosions of peacock bass just killing things. And if you can cast to where you see one blowing up, you'll almost always catch them. But it's a ton of casting. At least where I've been, a ton of casting. It's 5 fish a day sometimes, but they're almost always 10 to 15 up to 20 pounds. I've been in one lagoon where I caught about 70 in one day, and the majority of them were over 10 pounds. And that wasn't steal. That was just the fact that there was just that many fish.
That's unbelievable.
But I was saying, we got cut off, that you can use your bass reel and your bass rod, but last 2 fish at most. The fish would just open the split rings and completely open the hooks, even if they're not even 10 pounds. Peacock bass just destroy stuff.
Oh my God. So you could use the same, you'd use the same lures and baits over there as you would here?
You'd want to use a lot. You would never use like a soft plastic, because the piranhas would destroy it instantly.
Okay.
Spinner baits work incredibly well. They just got to be really, really tough. Swim baits work good. Crankbaits, like really, really tough jerk baits, work really well. And then like the wood chopper. Have you heard of the wood chopper? That big bait it's basically like it's what the Whopper Plopper was kind of designed off of.
Oh, okay.
Right, but just a big, big topwater bait with steel blades on it.
Oh, nice.
But you can find it with a crankbait like a 3.5 square bill and do just fine. But you definitely have to upgrade the split rings and the hooks.
Now, while you're over there,
the rod's broken.
Is there a lot of people fishing while you're there with you fishing? Like, you would find somebody at a spot here, or?
They try and book a group of 8 people.
Okay.
Else while you're fishing. And I mean, you and your partner should not see any of the other 8 people, because it should be enough of an area where nobody's fishing the same water.
Wow. When was the last time you were over there?
Oh man, I went there with my dad in March of last year.
Not long ago. Wow.
I'm going again in September to Guyana.
Are you going to Guyana? Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible. That's really cool to travel like that and to be able to fish these different species. I would love that. I'm jealous.
Yeah. Have you heard of river monsters?
Yes.
The one thing that drives me nuts about that show is that Jeremy Wade paints the Amazon as some absolutely terrifying place. You know what I mean? He's always talking about the piranhas are going to kill you, and
how scary it is, right?
The stingrays are going to kill you. I mean, I've been there 9 times and never had any issues at all. And I think people have this kind of idea that it's this faraway place and it's dangerous. And I think that a lot of people need to make that trip once in their life just to see what it's like. You know what I mean?
Experience it.
Yeah, it's just incredible, and it'll open your eyes to how wild it really can be out there. When you're fishing places like that, it just, you're really in that moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and quite honestly, I have the same fear because of shows like that, River Monsters and Jeremy Wade. And I love Jeremy Wade. I love watching River Monsters. I mean, it's an exhilarating show.
I respect Jeremy Wade, but I do not respect his message. I mean, he's made people terrified of it for just what I think is just getting clicks. But
it's nice that we have someone like you, a fellow fisherman, to go over there, I'm sure you made videos, right? You
Yeah, I
make
have
videos
hundreds of videos from there.
and show people what it's like. Not, showing the beautiful fish and just how beautiful it is there. And come back and share your experiences. It helps people like us. And I lost you for a second. But I was saying, yeah, it's nice to have a fisherman like you to be able to go over there and share your experiences when you come back and share the videos and of all your experiences and your fishing and the kinds of fish and people and just Mother Nature over there. It
Yeah, and
helps.
another thing that's really cool is the people over there. They're all Indians that are local, and your guide is a local Indian. And just getting to know those people is fascinating as well. That's a culture that doesn't ever use a cell phone or anything like that, and you're on their same level for like a full week, and you really get to know them and how they live their life, and it kind of humbles you.
Kind people, very kind. Are they?
Yes, absolutely. Very simple, very kind, and I don't know if you heard me or not, but I said you kind of spend a whole little they have and how happy they are, and it kind of humbles you.
Yeah, yeah. I like I said, it's the whole package or the whole experience going over there, and it's not just about the fishing. It's a whole different culture you're experiencing. It's
Yeah,
it's a different world, literally, and getting to meet different people like that. That's always a dream for me. It's always been a dream of mine to be able to travel the world and fish,
yeah,
and work doing it, making
yeah,
videos and communicating and sharing our world and our life with people over there and bringing theirs back over here and their experiences and my experiences. And so that you're living, that's the dream. That's really cool.
and I put a lot of casting stuff to the test uh, down there too, which has been really cool as well. Like the swim bait rod has caught 100-pound catfish and hundreds of peacock bass and golden dorado, and I thought that was cool. Just putting this basically heavy bass rod to the test against super strong fish.
So you used a lot of KastKing gear over there?
Yes, the Meg swim bait rod, the Speed Demon Pro Meg swim bait rod.
Oh, one of our favorites.
I've caught like probably 100 fish from South America on that, and 50-pound golden dorado and 100-pound catfish and stuff like that, and even a big arapaima. So yeah, that's probably my favorite product from
It
KastKing.
never ends with you. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Yeah, that's called putting it to the test. That's called putting KastKing gear to the test. I mean, really taking it over there
Yeah,
and it's nice to be able to trust in equipment like that when you go out there fishing. So you're not worried about something failing on you. That you can just go out there, have a great time out on the water. Know you're going to be able to trust in the gear you have, catch some fish, have fun, and that's it. Call it a day.
yeah. The way I view it is that if you don't think about your gear once throughout the day, then your gear is doing your job.
Absolutely. Just hold on one second. We have to have a word from our sponsors. Um, KastKing offers you affordable innovation through the best fishing tackle, including a wide variety of quality fishing rods, fishing reels, fishing line, and fishing accessories. Look for KastKing products on Amazon.com, Tackle Warehouse, AcademyOutdoors.com, eBay, and of course, KastKing.com. Make the switch to KastKing like so many fishing pros have. All right, we are back with Tyler Kleeb, and we were just talking about him going over there and fishing all over the place. He's going to be going to Guyana here soon, and I'm looking forward to some videos and some pictures. Where can everybody find this? You do a YouTube channel?
Yeah, that's the main thing I do right now. Ty PigPatrol is my on the door of 170,000 subs, but got a long ways to go. But putting a lot of effort into that. I have Instagram as well. It's Ty PigPatrol, but like I said, the majority of my effort is into YouTube.
Perfect. I'm really looking forward to it. I want to check this out, and I'm really excited about this. I'm looking forward to following your adventures as well.
Thank you.
Can you tell me what would be your favorite fishing? Let's see, a fishing bait or lure that you would use, or a fishing tactic to anything. Let's say to bass fishing. What would you use for our bass fishermen out there that you have a favorite lure, a confidence lure?
I have this crankbait has taught me thousands of big bass and thousands of peacock bass too. That's a 6 cents movement L7. You can see I got a different hook on there because it caught 8.
Oh,
No, it normally doesn't have hooks like that, but I was using it for peacock bass.
Oh, okay.
Got an 18-pound peacock bass on it, but that's the movement L7 crankbait from 6 cents, and that is an absolute beast. But as far as my favorite way to fish is to just throw giant lures, basically for giant fish, like giant hard baits. Here, let me pull another one.
You're going straight after big fish.
See, this is one fish.
Oh my God!
Did that to a big popper, a golden dorado. That's one 50-pound fish that did that. So just throwing a lure that big at aggressive fish is what I think is the absolute most fun. And this is a absolutely ideal peacock bait, and you can see that there's barely any paint left on it. It's just wrecked.
What is that? That's a
peacock.
Peacock
lip.
Wow.
Yeah, that's is out of the bag.
Wow.
Which I've had happen a few too many times.
So now that we're transitioning into spring, from winter into spring fishing, what would you be doing from winter into spring fishing to transition to get ready for winter fishing?
Well, it's going to be a very interesting spring because every shad.
Yeah. So we're talking about transitioning from winter to spring fishing.
Yeah, it's going to be a really interesting spring because every shad and every tilapia in Texas just died with this winter we just had. So I'm envisioning that once things do heat back up, as long as the majority of fish survive, that it will be a very good spring because all of the bait fish that they were feeding leave now and they're gone. So what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to throw a lipless crankbait basically until the water hits probably 60, 65 degrees, which should happen in about 2 or 3 weeks. And then it'll be solely big swim baits like that, looking for a big bite. And I might fish 3 hours for 4 days straight and only catch a couple fish. But if they hit that swim bait like that, they're going to be huge, you know.
So you're really after those big fish. You're gonna throw the big lures and the big baits and kind of you're set your sights on those big fish, right?
Yeah, no matter what I'm fishing for, the quantity doesn't really mean anything to me.
You want the size.
Yeah, and with YouTube as well, nobody wants to watch me catch a bunch of 2 and 3 pound bass.
I get it.
I'd rather post one video that's 6 minutes long of me catching a 10-pounder as opposed to, you know, the 30-minute video of me catching a bunch of 1 and 2 pounders.
You should see me catch a 1-2 pound fish, Tyler. I jump up and down like a little girl. I swear to God, I do. I jump up and down like a little kid.
If I catch a fish tomorrow after not catching a fish for the last 8 days, I will be good.
Oh, that's great. Now, if you weren't fishing, is there anything else you'd be doing? Is there another hobby you have?
I like hunting just as much, if not more, than I like fishing.
What did you say?
I like hunting just as much, more than I like fishing.
So you're an outdoorsman altogether.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just I get to hunt once or twice or 3 times a year, and I can fish literally any day of the year. So I take hunting pretty seriously the rare times I get to do it.
Absolutely.
But as far as I'm just not that great at hunting, and I've fished enough to where it's instinct and it's intuition for me. Not quite there with hunting, but I want to put more time and more effort into that in the coming year.
Fishing kind of takes it all, doesn't it?
At this point it does, yes.
I concur with that. There's nothing wrong with that either.
Yeah. What about you? What do you like to fish for?
We froze. There we go. I am a bass fisherman. I fished for a while being a bass fisherman. I fish the banks a lot. I love pond fishing. I hop pond to pond, but I moved to Florida. So I just started getting into saltwater fishing. And I have to tell you, as much as I'm in my heart, I'm a bass fisherman, I'm telling you, saltwater is becoming big popular with me. I love it. I love those big fish. But yes, I love those big fish, just like you.
Saltwater becoming, and then we cut off.
Yeah, but I'm becoming more of saltwater fishing. I've been getting more and more into it, and I love those big fish. And just like you, I just go out there and I don't care what I'm catching. I mean, I just want to get on a big fish. I want the fight. To me, it's like, the puzzle of finding the fish and then the fight. Not so much getting it in. I love that. I love to look at the fish, like I told you, study the fish, check it out. It's pretty cool. Take some pictures for memories, put it back. But, I'm really getting into some salt. What's that?
Where in Florida are you?
I live in about an hour from Orlando.
Got
So I'm Summerfield area.
Got
So there's, I'm surrounded by the chain of lakes, I really have some beautiful fishing. I have Lake Toho here, around here. Yeah, that's a really good place. I've caught some 9-10 pounders on Toho.
Really?
Yeah, some really good bass. I caught grouper and saltwater, so I'm getting there. I'm not quite like you. I mean, it's my dream to fish like you, to be able to go out to like the Amazon, go out there and do some crazy fishing for some dream fish, some bucket list fish like peacock bass. Actually, I'm not far from where I can fish from peacock bass. It's only like a couple hours for me.
Yeah.
Nothing
I've never caught those peacocks in Florida, but that's a different species. That species is in the Amazon, but those, I think they max out at around 10 pounds, which, don't get me wrong, is still super cool. But
for me, that's huge. But for someone like you, it's like,
I've never caught a peacock in the United States, so it would be cool to.
We'll have to do that sometime. Yeah, it's something different. And I want to go out there to where you're going. Go out to the Amazon, go out to Guyana, and fish with you.
I think you and Shay need to talk to your folks at KastKing and get a KastKing trip planned down there.
Absolutely. Can you imagine?
Checked out a lot of gear down there.
Oh my God, we would have a blast. We wouldn't want to come back. We wouldn't. Speaking of KastKing, how long have you been with KastKing? How did you get with KastKing?
Shane is a real good buddy of mine, and that's how I got affiliated with them. And I've been using their stuff for probably about a year and a half.
Nice. It's really cool. And you enjoy it? You enjoy using it?
I do. Yes. There's some products that they make that I refuse to really use anything else. The Speed Demon Pro rods are great, and two actions that I like. The May swim bait rod I'll use for basically big catfish and anything else, and then they have a chatterbait rod, and that rod I've caught a lot of fish on, and it has the perfect amount of give to set the hook when a big fish eats a crankbait. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's absolutely perfect rod for crankbaiting, in my opinion, and I've used that a ton.
I know exactly what you mean, and also with that bend, you're also not afraid that the rod's going to snap, because I've had that with, not with KastKing, but with other rods that I've used in the past, where the rod actually broke on me. I'm lifting in a big, not even a huge bass. I'm talking maybe 7-8 pounds. Nothing.
Hey, that's a big bass.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm nothing like humongous, but still, the rod snapped in half, and it's just nice to have equipment that that it's gonna carry that weight. It's not gonna break. It's not gonna, give out on you. So it's nice to have that.
KastKing, the Sharky 3 Gold.
Yes.
That one. Look, I caught this is the biggest peacock I've ever got.
Oh, Tyler, that's beautiful.
I caught this one on that Sharky 3 Gold in the Amazon, and so it was cool using those products over there, and worked pretty well against big fish.
I can't believe the color. Oh, the beautiful color. For people that are listening to the podcast, Tyler just showed us what's the size of that peacock bass?
That was 20 pounds.
20-pound peacock bass that he has up on his wall that he caught. Where did you catch it?
That was in Colombia.
Colombia. Oh, absolutely gorgeous. Tyler, I can't thank you enough for coming on the show and sharing all this with me. I mean, I'm so excited. I'm in awe of your traveling and where you've been, the things you've done. I'm excited to follow along on your adventures along with everybody else listening, I'm sure. We'll definitely check you out and check in your videos and just keep following along in your adventures.
Awesome. Well, thank you. I do my best to keep my channel pretty raw and pretty real. I'm not going to talk about the weather or anything, or I'm not going to waste anybody's time. I'm just trying to get straight to the point and catch big fish and keep it as entertaining as I can.
Absolutely.
And, no fluff, I guess.
Thanks a lot, Tyler. It really was a pleasure to have you on tonight, and hopefully we can have you back on and hear some more stories and adventures.
You bet. We'd love to do it. Thank you.
It sounds great. KastKing spells affordable innovation. Make the switch to KastKing for the best value in fishing gear. KastKing offers you an affordable, quality alternative to high-priced fishing products. Thanks for spending time with us today on KastKing On The Line. Keep grinding, stay strong, always stay humble, and always keep on fishing. Catch you guys in the next adventure. Thank you, Tyler. It was wonderful to have you. Have a good night.
You too. Bye.
KastKing has brought a new vibe to fishing. KastKing turned fishing upside down through affordable innovation. You will flip over the best values in fishing from KastKing. KastKing is all about affordable innovation.